Welcome to the Situation Room. I'm James Cary and I'm all about helping you write better sitcoms. In this series, we're looking at 5 mistakes in the first 10 pages of your sitcom, and we're on to mistake number 4. Now, I can remember hearing an episode of Friends from another room. I couldn't quite hear the dialogue, I couldn't hear anything they were actually saying, but all I could hear was the audience laughter, and it was just frighteningly regular. It just seemed like every other line, sometimes every line, like laugh, laugh, laugh. It was amazing. It was metronomic in its frequency. And it's an astonishing achievement given that the writers are also weaving together a story and a character on top of all of that. And you could be panicking that you're trying to get that kind of laugh count, and so you're just trying to sort of stuff it full of jokes. And the first 10 pages is just kind of a series of jokes and people saying funny things. I mean, it's a good aim. It's a good thing to be worried about. You're a sitcom writer. You're trying to write a sitcom. You want it to be funny, right? But it's easy to think about it the wrong way. And actually, I subtly did that almost on purpose a minute ago when I said that, you got your stories and the characters weaving together with the jokes. And it's almost as if the jokes are separate from the stories and the characters. And you kind of got to cart your characters around from scene to scene in order to have them do jokes in a different place. But actually, that's not how it is, and we really need to think again. Characters don't just say funny things regardless of the situation or the context. No, the context and the characters give you the jokes. They actually give you the jokes. Now, static characters that don't move or have quests or aims are just spouting jokes. Now, you might actually be able to have one character that does this and they just sort of come in, bang, joke, go off again. And I'm thinking Carla from Cheers, for example. She usually turns in, cuts someone down to size, talks about the number of children she has, and then gets out of there. But you can't have all of your characters do that and just wisecracking off each other. You can also have a wisecracking, hero like Hawkeye and MASH, but they've got to have a story. So we'll come on to that in a minute. And so we're getting on to mistake number 4. This is what decent panel games do. And so they're just jokes. Half a dozen people rooted to chairs being asked questions or set challenges. Different rounds to give some variation. They're kind of characters. There's usually a clever person and a less clever one or a rebellious one on this panel game. Like you've got Stephen Fry and Alan Davis, or you've got Ian Hislop and Paul Merton, or whatever it is. Don't write a panel game. You're writing a sitcom. So that's mistake number 4. You're writing a panel game and not a sitcom. Don't do that. See, if you're not careful, the first 10 pages of your sitcom script is just funny people saying funny things, riffing about the thing in front of them before moving on to the next thing, and then they're in another scene with some other funny people. They're going to be funny about something else. And whoever's reading that script is probably going to give up on about page 7 because it's just a bunch of jokes. And our jokes are great, but it's obvious that nothing is happening and that this isn't actually a sitcom. It's basically a panel game. So you need a story. You need a story. You don't actually have time for jokes that aren't character or story related. You've got 30 pages. You're only recording 32 minutes if it's the BBC. In America, I guess you're over recording even shorter, like 26 minutes. Single camera, maybe you've got a bit more room if you're shooting on location, but it has to be tight. It has to be really, really tight. So as I've said on previous videos, here's the advice. Get on with it. Get on with it. A sitcom is not a jokey panel game. You need to tell a story with a beginning and a middle and an end. So look at your script. Is it clear who the story is about and what their goals are? And the story needs to build and escalate and get worse and worse and harder. See, jokes without a context that are just jokes don't really sustain or build momentum. And you only actually need one joke if you're just going by joke to joke to joke. You only want one joke that misfires and all of the momentum is lost. It's just too hard and you can't keep it going for half an hour anyway. So rather than a string of one-liners and zingers, make sure your characters have quests and attitudes, and trust that the comedy will come from that, from the characters, from how they are, from how you've set the show up. And if you're not getting comedy from the characters and the stories, you've got a problem. And you need to look at your characters and your stories. Now, it may be that if you do that, you decide, do you know what? I like my characters and my stories. And actually, maybe it's not a sitcom. maybe it's a comedy drama. Maybe it's more drama than comedy. That's okay. Some of my favourite shows aren't funny. So we'll come on to comedy drama in a video later on that I'll do in a few weeks. But jokes without context, they make great trailers and they can be memorable moments. On the first page of a script, maybe it's okay just to, get the atmosphere going. But they often feel like they're borrowed from other sitcoms anyway, that they don't have the context. So get the story going. You're not writing a movie. You're not writing a murder mystery. You're not writing a CV or a resume. You're not writing a panel game. You're writing a sitcom. So mistake number 5 next time will fall off the horse in the 5th way. But if you've got a script right now that needs some improvement and don't know where to start, get my handy guide called 7 Ways to Improve Your Sitcom right now. And if you want to get hold of that, click the link below and you can see that. And also please subscribe to these videos. That would be really nice to support them, because I'd like to do lots of them. And also share them, tweet them, and also use your mouth to tell people about them. That's still allowed. So do that. And together we can knock out better sitcom scripts. That's the aim. Speak to you next time.